Silence is not weakness. Most people misunderstand silence because they only understand noise. They think power is loud. They think strength needs to be seen. But real strength is often quiet. There is something dangerous about a person who stays calm after being disrespected. Not because they are afraid, but because they understand something most people never will. Not every battle deserves your energy. Some people want reactions. They want your anger, your frustration, your attention, because when they control your emotions, they control you. And that is why silence becomes power. There are moments in life when people will try to reduce you. They will speak to you with disrespect. They will mock your dreams, ignore your value, question your worth. And in those moments, your first instinct is to react, to defend yourself, to prove something, to fight back. But wisdom teaches a different lesson. Sometimes the strongest response is no response. Because not every person deserves access to your emotions. Mature people understand this. Emotionally strong people understand this. They know peace is expensive. And they stop giving it away to temporary people and temporary situations. The truth is, some people feed on chaos. They create drama because silence forces them to face themselves. And many people are terrified of what they see in the mirror. That's why calm people make insecure people uncomfortable. Your silence becomes a reflection of their behavior. Without arguing, without shouting, without revenge, and that silence speaks loudly. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning that not everyone deserves an explanation. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. No matter how clearly you speak, they will twist your words. No matter how kind you are, they will search for flaws. And eventually you realize something important: protecting your peace is more valuable than winning arguments. There is no reward for destroying yourself trying to be understood by people who never wanted to understand you in the first place. That is why boundaries matter. And real boundaries are often quiet. They are not dramatic. They are not announced. They simply exist. You stop replying. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop giving energy to people who only drain it. And suddenly, your life becomes lighter. Because energy is precious. Every argument steals something from you. Every toxic interaction leaves a mark. Every moment spent proving yourself to the wrong people slowly exhausts your spirit. Strong people learn to protect their energy carefully. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your kindness, your attention, your vulnerability. And the moment you realize this, your entire life changes. You stop reacting emotionally to everything. You observe more. You speak less. You understand people better. Because silence teaches observation. When you stop talking, you start seeing. You notice manipulation faster. You notice fake kindness, fake loyalty, fake respect. You begin to understand that many people only value you when you are useful to them. And that truth hurts, but it also frees you. Because once you see reality clearly, you stop begging for acceptance. You stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. And slowly, you become more confident. Not loud confidence. Not fake confidence. Real confidence. The kind that comes from self-respect. Real confidence is peaceful. It does not need attention. It does not need validation. It does not need to prove itself every 5 minutes. Weak people react to everything. Strong people choose carefully where their energy goes. That is discipline. And discipline changes lives. Most people ruin their future because they cannot control their emotions. One moment of anger destroys relationships. One emotional decision creates years of regret. That is why emotional control is power. Anyone can scream. Anyone can insult. Anyone can lose control. But remaining calm in difficult moments? That requires strength. There will be moments when silence feels painful. Moments when you want revenge. Moments when you want people to feel the pain they caused you. But revenge rarely heals people. Growth does. Healing does. Distance does. Self-respect does. And one day, you reach a point where peace becomes more important than proving a point. That is maturity. You realize life becomes better when you stop fighting unnecessary battles. You sleep better. You think clearly. You stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours to carry. And most importantly, you stop abandoning yourself just to keep other people comfortable. Because many people lose themselves trying to be accepted. They tolerate disrespect, fake friendships, one-sided relationships, constant emotional exhaustion, all because they fear loneliness. But loneliness is not the enemy. Sometimes loneliness is where transformation begins. Sometimes distance saves you. Sometimes silence heals you in ways that noise never could. Growth often happens quietly. No audience, no applause, no validation, just you, fighting battles nobody sees, healing wounds nobody understands, becoming stronger in silence. And eventually, people notice the change. Your energy changes. Your standards change. Your presence changes. You stop chasing attention. And ironically, that is when people begin respecting you more. Because self-respect changes the way people experience you. You no longer tolerate what once drained you. You no longer entertain disrespect just to avoid conflict. You become selective. Selective with your energy. Selective with your circle. Selective with your words. And that selectiveness protects your peace. One of the most powerful things you can learn is this. Not every disrespect deserves revenge. Sometimes life handles people better than you ever could. Time reveals character. Patterns expose truth. Consequences arrive eventually. You do not need to destroy yourself trying to force justice. Focus on yourself instead. Focus on your growth, your goals, your healing, your future. Because your future deserves your energy more than your anger does. Every minute spent hating someone is a minute stolen from your own life. And life moves fast, too fast to waste on constant negativity. That is why emotionally intelligent people move differently. They do not react immediately. They pause, they think, they observe, and then they choose peace. Not because they are weak, but because they are strong enough to protect their inner world. Real power is emotional control. Real power is walking away from chaos. Real power is staying calm while others lose themselves. Real power is knowing your worth without needing to scream it. And perhaps the greatest form of power is becoming unbothered by things that once destroyed your peace. Because healing changes you, growth changes you, silence changes you. One day, you stop needing revenge. You stop needing closure from people who hurt you. You stop needing everyone to understand your side of the story. And instead, you start building a life so peaceful that protecting it becomes more important than reacting to every disturbance. That is true growth. That is emotional maturity. And that is the moment your silence becomes your greatest strength.